Hey, what's up, everyone? I want to welcome you guys to another episode of Here's What I Think with your host, Charles Tabansi, where we discuss everything from current events, economics, politics, and how it all relates to business and life. And today we have a hell of a show in store for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So as you guys know, the election is only 11 days away, folks. It is literally around the corner. People have already been voting. I've already voted. Candidates are urging voters to have their early voting, make sure they turn out on election day, vote. I mean, it is here. It is here. Like the moment is finally here when we're going to figure out who is going to be the president. Now, why are we even producing this show? The reason we're producing this show is because of the shift that I'm witnessing in the polls. For the past, month and a half now since we started this show, a lot of the polls have been showing Kamala with a strong lead in some of those battleground states, the original 7 battleground states, which seem to be still the same 7. Which are those states? We have Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, and Nevada. At one point in this race, and when I say at one point, I'm talking about like less than a month ago. At one point in this race, Kamala was leading in like 3 of them. Trump was leading in 3 of them. And then it was like one toss-up. I forgot which state that was in specific words like even. But since then, her lead has completely evaporated. And based on the information that I'm getting this morning from 538.com, it seems like her lead that she had in all of those other states where she had a slight lead is pretty much gone. Let's go through some of the polling data here. Let's look at Wisconsin for a second, okay? Wisconsin right now, we want to show it to you guys. With 11 days out, Kamala Harris is leading in that state with 0.2, by 0.2. It's 47.9 to 47.6. That is even. Folks, that is even. At one point, I believe she had a lead there. Let's look at Nevada. That's another state, swing state. As of today, who's ahead of Nevada? Donald Trump is ahead of Nevada, 47.5 over Kamala, 47.3. That's Nevada. Let's look at the next state. Let's look at Michigan. Okay, we'll look at Michigan, we'll look at North Carolina, we'll look at Georgia. Okay, and we look at Arizona, and we'll look at Arizona here. So Michigan, she's leading in Michigan by half a point, 47.6 to 47.2. North Carolina, Trump is leading in North Carolina by a solid point, 48.4, 47.1. Georgia, Donald Trump is leading by almost 2 points, 1.6, which is a 48.6 to 47. Now, why am I bringing any of this up? Because some of you are like, well, that's still within the margin of error. Yes, it is still within the margin of error. But just about 3 to 4 weeks ago, she had slight leads in those states, around 1.5 to 2 points. To now, the lead is completely shrank, meaning the lead is gone. So what does this mean? Number one, it tells you that her momentum seems to be waning. Now, yesterday, obviously, she had a huge endorsement in Houston, Texas. She brought out Beyonce. That was a big one. But Donald Trump countered that by going on the Joe Rogan podcast, which has generated 13 million views in less than a day. So he did that as well. It shows, however, though, that this thing, in terms of it still being a toss-up, yes, it is. But the momentum seems to be shifting because even when she was leading, the margin of error still existed, which was about 3 to 5 points. But nevertheless, it doesn't look good to see your lead evaporate even within the margin of error, which means that the swing could potentially be larger if it goes in the direction of Trump. So as it currently stands, is the election still a toss-up? 100%. But what it looks like is Trump has been able to maintain his lead in states like North Carolina, even though he's up by 1 point, Georgia, even though he's up by 2 points or 1.5 points, and Arizona. Meanwhile, the 3 states that Kamala held strongly, to put it in quotes, has evaporated and now is dead even. Is dead even. Now, I don't know how it all plays out. If this person wins this state, that person wins this state, what happened? I don't know all of that. I'll leave it to the experts. but it shows you that her lead is evaporating, and this is going to be one hell of a final sprint all the way to the finish line. Whatever. So what I want to know from you guys, how do you think this thing plays out? Who do you ultimately thinks ends up winning this election? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comments, and we'll catch you guys on the next show.